And we're live. Hey everyone, I'm Marco. I'm one of the code mentors here at the theFirehoseProject. Thanks for joining me for the info session. So what are we going to cover today, right? That's usually the question that I want to answer first. I think what we're going to do is I'm running you through our core curriculum a little bit, see and kind of explain what kind of web applications we're building. I'm going to tell you what a group project is, how mentorship sessions work, what kind of support you can expect while you go through the program. And then I also want to answer the one question that I get asked the most. It's what kind of skills can I actually take out of the Firehose project, the 12 weeks that I'm with you guys? And I'll do that at the very end. And then obviously, if you have any questions, right below me is the question box. Put your questions in, or also shoot me an email. I already got a few questions that I'll go through at the end of the info sessions. So let's get straight started. How does the core curriculum work, right? What am I going to learn? What kind of applications am I actually going to build? So I think the first thing we usually do is you start with us, you get your onboarding session, we help you with the installation process of the web development environment, and then we want you to build a web application, a fully functional web application, really fast. We say within the first 10 hours, you should have something live and out on the internet. So that means could take several days for you, or you go crazy and you just hack it out in one day and you ship it live. So that first web application, it's a simple advice splurting application that shows quotes that users can input into your database, right? We all wrap that into a mobile first design. So it's kind of the goal is always if you're at a party on the weekend and you pull out your phone and you say to your friends, hey, look, this is what I built this weekend. The reaction should be whoa, you built this? Awesome. That's what we're shooting for with the stuff we're building. So it's always should look good on mobile, desktop, and tablet. So you're building your advice splurting generator application first 10 hours, right? So that gives you a really good kind of 360-degree view of all the tools that you're going to use. So we're talking about you're going to program your first lines of Ruby code. You're going to use the Rails framework, right? You're going to integrate with a database. Use your text editor. You're going to get familiar with your terminal, right? We also have to write some HTML and CSS. We have to do some styling on the page. We also have to make sure we can ship that out to our servers. So we're learning how that works too, right? And that's what we all do in the first 10 hours. The reason we're doing this is because it's an amazing feeling as a web developer to be in the driver's seat and actually ship something live on the internet and then be hey guys, this is what I just built, and share it with your friends. They can actually use it already. And then get the user feedback. And then not only is that really good for motivation, but you're always oh, okay, everyone wants upvote buttons, but I might not know how to implement upvote buttons, but soon I will, right? So then you finish that first application. We call it the Splurty, the advice Splurty generator. And then we want you to build a Yelp clone, a fully functional web application. It pretty much works like Yelp. So if I'm thinking about that application, the most important feature, I think, or the most crucial feature is integrating with the Google Map API. So what does that mean? We're basically writing Ruby code as soon as the user types in their address into a form field and saves that into the database, we're grabbing that address, writing the code to translate that address into latitude and longitude coordinates and passing it back into the Google API so we get that pin on the map. That's what we're going to do. But that wouldn't be a fully functional application at this point, right? We want to build real-world stuff. So it needs to have more features. Obviously, users can add places. So if I have, let's say, an awesome pizza place, I can put that on your Yelp clone, right? And say Marco's awesome pizza place. But then users want to come and rate that, right? So there's star ratings. There's also user comments. So they can say hey, I rate this 5 stars. Marco's pizza, awesome. I wish he would be open on Sundays as well. Now, if that happens, since it's my pizza place, I would really love to have an email notification being sent to me. And it's hey, somebody just rated your place and left a comment. You may want to check it out. So we also build automated email notifications, right? So Google Map API, automated email notifications, and user star ratings and user comments, right? Those are features that we're building. And then we also build a little bit of a user dashboard, so every user can actually see how many places did I rate, what's my place, how many comments did I get, which ones did I respond. So a little bit of analytical coding we do there too. So to get a fully really good feeling application out there. So that's the second application. That usually takes our students about, let's say, until about week 3, maybe 4. We built that one. Then we crank it up a level. we built an online learning platform next. And when I mean platform, that really says what the most crucial feature is that you guys are going to learn at that point. And that is the database relationships between different user roles. So if I say platform and online learning, right, we already can feel like what's going on here. There's instructors on one side, there's students on the other side. Now we, on a database level, need to write all the code to make sure that if one user buys a course from one instructor but not the other one, that user can actually access the one course from instructor A but not from instructor B. So how we do that on a database relationship level is really important because that powers almost all the web applications out there, right? If you think about Facebook, if I'm liking a picture, who's going to get the notification that somebody liked the picture, and who's just going to get the notification that somebody liked the picture of somebody else, right? If you're thinking about this, this is all handled on database relationship level, and it's crucial to almost all web application or apps out there. So that's what we're going to learn there. But we also want to add more features to it, right? So not only can users sign out, log in, user authentication, we already learned that Yelp clone. We're going to do user authentication obviously as well. It's just standard things that we need to build. But we also want to be able to accept payments for these courses. So what we're going to do is we integrate with a payment API with Stripe. So users can actually enter their credit card information, and we can charge money for our courses, and instructors can earn money on that. And us, as a platform owner, we're going to get a cut of that transaction. That's what a platform is. So that will take us maybe another 3 weeks. It's pretty complicated. Another thing that we're adding at that point is we are adding JavaScript, right? JavaScript is really important for user interaction, making things look nicer and a better experience for the user. So what we're going to do is we use JavaScript and we teach it to you right at the moment that you need it. So when an instructor organizes their courses, they can actually drag and drop it on the page and reorder their courses and their lessons. So that's really important because it makes it a lot easier for them, and it's a really neat user interface feature that we're going to build, and we teach you when you need it right at that point so you can actually learn by doing. So that's kind of the core curriculum. And then it really depends where you guys want to go to, right? So kind of customize the core curriculum already a little bit to your skill level of when you're coming in, because there's additional modules that we add to any given student to help them like get to a good foundation as fast as possible. And now we have two kinds of students, right? We usually have job seekers and we have entrepreneurs. Now let's talk about the job seekers first. So you're going to finish your first 3 applications in the core curriculum. We're already going to send you additional challenges there to build like algorithms, get even better at database relationships. But then after the core is over, the core curriculum is over, we want you to be joining a group project, right? And by a group project, I mean you're going to build a web application how it is built in the real world. And that is as a group effort. So that means you're going to have 4 or 5 students, usually about 3 or 4 students, working together with you on an application as a team. So that means you need to be able to write code, you need to be able to review others' code, and you also get critiqued on your code. You also need to make sure, how are we going to merge all these different coding pieces from everyone together? And how do we collaboratively build a fully functional web application? So to give you an example, what have students built, right? So students, for example, build a chess game, right? If you're thinking about that, that's pretty challenging, figuring out all the individual moves of every little figure in a chess game. So that actually came up in an interview question from one of our students like just a week ago, last week. And they asked, how would you build a chess game? And he's like, funny you should ask. I just built one together with my group. And not only did that impress the interviewer because he knew how to build a chess game, because that's a lot of Ruby code and that's pretty challenging, but he also worked on it as a team. And if you're thinking about the hiring manager, they're looking for candidates who have an impact from day one on the job. And if you already know how to work as a team, as a development team, as a unit, and ship applications together in a team effort like it is done in the real world, you're going to be that person who can already do something on day one. And that's a huge competitive advantage, and people are looking for that. So that's exactly why we put job seekers on a group project. Now, if you're an entrepreneur, right, you're like, I'm going to come into this because I have this idea and I want to build this live, I want to launch this, and I don't want to hire freelancers anymore. I understand I need to be able to learn code so I can really build it myself and later maybe hire people, but I need to be technical. Those people, we focused the last 4 weeks to actually build and launch your application. So we start by wireframing it, figuring out all the individual features, breaking it out into technical chunks that we can code, and then we teach you together with your mentor how to code those pieces into actual features so we can launch your application. What have people built? So Stephen Fung, one of our students who's now moved over to Sacramento in California, he built an on-demand delivery app similar to what Uber does, but he made it for medicine. So you can actually see your delivery car coming on the map on your phone, and you can see when the delivery is right in front of your doorstep. Walk down, grab your pack, and you're good to go. That's one person. Pete built another application. He's really into horse racing and betting on horse races. So he built an application that maps out all the horse race tracks and rates them across the US, and then provides users with analytics on the current horse races that happen on that horse race track. So I know nothing about horse racing, but I learned a lot working together with him. So he built that, and his friends are using it, and he's happy, and it helps to make better decisions, and other people start using it too, so he's super stoked on that. So that's kind of the different tracks, right? Career seekers, and then also people who have that entrepreneurial spirit. Now, usually people ask me, so Marco, what is the support system that you have? I heard about mentorship, there's maybe office hours. We do 3 things. And I started what I think is the most crucial one, and that's our question and answer forum. Now everyone says like a forum, and forums all over. How is this different? It's different by the speed at what you get a reply. So you thinking about you coding on Thursday night, right? You get in an error message, you follow the sequence that we taught you how to help yourself, but you couldn't quite figure out what's wrong, so you're stuck. That's not good, because you're wasting time now. So you can take a screenshot of your error message, post it into the forum, give us a few other pieces of information that we need, and we usually help you within several hours, and then you unstuck, and you can keep coding, right? And that's really important, because when you come to me, when you come to our mentors, we don't want to spend time on fixing your commas and your typos. That's where the forum is there for, right? I can say, hey, on line 37, you missed a comma. Here you missed an equal sign, right? I can help you. I can make sure that when you arrive at the mentorship session, you're error-free. So when we start the mentorship session, I can focus on other things that are important. We can pair program. I can explain to you how the concepts work, how a web application fits together, or we can pair program and build a feature that matters to you. We can, for example, write an algorithm together. We can, for example, do test-driven development, write your first tests and actually go through. We have a full section dedicated to that, how to build an application doing test-driven development. And that's really important, because in the real world, you can't even get your code live if you don't have adequate test coverage. So of course our students need to learn that, but that's what the mentorship session is for, not to help you debug your code and help you with a comma here. We can deal with that in the forum right when you need it. Mentorship session is to elevate your coding level another level up, right? So always keeping the learning curve steep and making sure you get the most out of it. That's really important. And then we have the office hours. They happen weekly. In office hours, usually all of our students get together. Also the students who work on a group project, they all come together, entrepreneurs, and we help with questions, right? So that could be anything from last Wednesday, we just had like, how do I integrate myself into my local web development community? And a student from LA answered a student in New York how he does it over in LA. Super powerful, really good to hear that from somebody who's on the ground actually. And then people have like error messages, right? And it's really helpful for you if you're just starting out, like your first office hours, your second office hours, to see, oh, it's a bit complicated with that code, but this is where I'm going, right? And then later down the line, if you're like in week 6 or 7 and you have a student who just started to ask a question like, oh, I have this error message, somehow this doesn't work, or how does a controller work? Oftentimes our students go in and answer that question right for them because of that teach back moment. It's really powerful for you to actually learn a different way. So that's what we're doing as well. So the forum, office hours, mentorship session, they work together with the core curriculum and the group projects or the entrepreneurs. That's kind of it, how it works in essence. Now, the next question usually people ask me is like, hey, Marco, what kind of skills do I get out of the Firehose project, right? And the best answer I can give is, obviously we focus on your goals, but the best answer I can give is, you're gonna be able to come out of the Firehose project. If you think about an idea that you want to implement, think, oh, this would be really neat if this X thing exists, right? You can go spend the weekend, spend a couple days, build it, have a first product out there, and test it and send it to people and see what their reactions are. That's really powerful stuff, taking your ideas and making them real. Obviously, you have the skills to land a job if you want to, right? We prepare you extensively for the technical interview process. In fact, some of our students, they build a platform during their group project that trains people who are about to have a technical interview what kind of questions to expect and how to go through that, right? They're putting the finishing touches on that right now, loading it up with a lot of quiz questions, but that's going to be super helpful. Now think about if you're in a technical interview, right? Like what kind of advantage that gives you if somebody asks you a question, you're like, oh, funny, this is a good one. I just loaded that into my own platform that trains 100 people how to code, how to go through a technical interview process. Let's see, this is my solution, right? Think about how that flips the interview around. It's really good stuff. So I hope that answers those questions. In the meantime, guys, below me, ask your questions if you have any questions. I'm going to quickly check my email because I think I already have a few questions. So I'm quickly going to check on that and see what I have. It's like, oh, here's a good one. How are the lessons presented, right? That's a good one. So we do a combination of a few things, right? So we have a lot of written guides. We also have videos. Now, first let me explain why we don't have only videos, why written guides are so important. So if you're out in the real world and you're building and you're coding, you oftentimes need to follow documentations that other web developers have written, right? You want to integrate with the Google Map API, with any API, with the Google Translate API, with the Stripe API, Payment API, PayPal API, doesn't matter, MailChimp API, you need to read documentation. Documentation is always written, so you don't have that video. So the sooner you learn how to follow step-by-step instruction in a written format, the better. The other purpose it serves, the whole documentation, all the features we talked about, right? Automated email notifications, star rating, user comments, Google Map API, the database relationships, the JavaScript for better user interface. That's all right there for you for documentation to come back to. You're in a group project. You're working on your own project as an entrepreneur. You can come back and say, like, how do I activate my mailer again so it actually sends the email? I know I've done that somewhere. Here's the code. How does this work together? What's that one command? Rather than going through the email back and forth, you can actually go in and find that really fast. And then we give you videos at the moment when you need them to explain how the individual pieces of a web application fit together. So we do that as well. So it's a combination of both. That's pretty much how the lessons are presented. So let's see if we have anything else. Yeah, here's another good email one. How many hours do I need to dedicate to the Firehose project? That's a good one. So what we usually expect our students to do is, like, say, a minimum of 15 hours per week. Now, there's lots of students who put way more hours per week into it than the 15 minimum, right? So Angel from LA, he put in 40 hours per week into it. Ilya from Germany, he just got 4 job offers and accepted his job as a full-stack Ruby on Rails developer with a big technology company over in Munich that also is headquartered in Boston, so it's really exciting for us. He also put in about, I think, 30, 35 hours per week. But so minimum is 15. If you're on a job seeker path and keeping up on the group project, I say dedicate 20, 25 hours per week. That's to be on the safe side. You really want to make sure you get the most out of it, right? If you have less, we scale that back to curriculum a little bit for you, but we really want you to get the most out of it. So that's what I kind of say, like, get the most out of it. So I just got another question here, is like, how does the application process work? That's a good one, application process. Usually it works like this. You watch this information session, you understand what's happening. I want to see from all of our applicants, I want to see coding samples. I want to know you guys coded before, right? Don't go to a coding bootcamp, any bootcamp, ours, others, in-person online coding bootcamp, without having a minimum knowledge of coding already, right? You do not want to apply to medical school to become a doctor if you don't know if you like to see blood, because once you're in a hospital, you're going to see a lot of blood. Same thing goes with coding, right? Don't learn how to code to become a web developer if you don't know if you actually enjoy the task of writing code, because you're going to write it 8 hours every single day. So that's important that you actually enjoy writing code. So you can email me. You guys all have my email. Reach out and let me know if you sent me your coding samples and start the conversation that way. Just reach out, ask me additional questions. And then usually after I looked at your coding samples, if you never coded before, reach out. I have a really good onboarding program for you that you guys can go through. And I just give that to you guys, and you can learn how to code and actually crank up your knowledge a little bit if you've never done anything, right? So, and then reach out to me with your coding samples, and then we jump on a Google Hangout, and I want to talk to you. I want to know what your goals are. I want to answer all the questions that you guys have, and I want to see, like, does this work? Can we give you what you need, right? That's really important to us. And then if that works, we're looking for a time that works for you to start. Right now, we're starting new students every Monday. I think we already, December is halfway full. I think middle of December, we have new slots available to start students. And that's pretty much what that onboarding process is. Coding sample, talking to me, figuring out that we're on the same page, and then we have you, get you connected with a mentor, either me or the other mentors on our team, and we get you started. So let's see if I have any other questions. All right, looks like I got nothing here on the group. You guys can ask me questions. I'm about 2 minutes ahead of you. That's how Google Hangout does this. So if you ask too late, or you think about, I might be gone already, or if you think about a question like in half an hour tonight, just reach out, email to me, and I'm happy to help you guys later as well. Let's see, do we have another one via email? Oh, here's a good one. Yeah, thanks. That's a good question. So what kind of technologies am I going to learn? So let's dig into this, right? So we're going to teach Ruby, the programming language. We teach Rails, the framework. And then we're going to obviously need to teach you HTML and CSS because we need to make things look pretty, and that's just standard stuff. We also teach you JavaScript, Ajax requests. So we have, don't refresh the page. This works all automatically. We can just, without a page request, communicate to our server. We teach you Git for version control and GitHub to back up our code and work collaboratively as a team. We also teach you how to work with Heroku. We teach you SQL, that's the programming language that we take, or the language that we use to communicate with our database. We use PostgreSQL, so we need to interact with the database, run queries to pull data out, do a little bit of analysis on that. It's really important if you want a job. Ruby, obviously, I mentioned that already. Then we also teach you the wireframing stuff, how to break things into individual pieces, the whole database structure. We teach you test-driven development, TDD. It's really important. So as I said earlier, we have a full section dedicated to that, and we actually make our students write some of the apps with TDD in mind. And doing a group project, we started like, you need to write your tests first before we even accept your code into the main application, just like we did in the real world. So yeah, we mirror that real world scenario really well in our program. Again, so somebody just asked, like, I'm getting all this via email. That's awesome. I just got, like, how long is the program? It's 12 weeks. And yeah, the application process, I just said, like, you know, send me an email with your coding samples, then we jump on a Google Hangout. I want to figure out if this is a good match, and if we can help you with your goals. If not, I'm more than happy to suggest alternatives to you and help you out in any way I can. All right, let's see if we have anything else. Here's another one. All right. Why she who? I don't know if I pronounced that name correctly. Why? I call you Why. I hope that's right. You ask, how often do I meet with my mentor? Really good question. So right now, we used to have multiple mentorship sessions throughout the week, but actually we meet once a week for a full hour. So you're gonna have the office hours once a week. You're gonna have down the line in your group project, you have your group project meetings, and you have your mentorship session. And that 1 hour really helps us. If we break it into shorter, half hour, it just doesn't work. We need to go really deep and build something, right? If we go into test-driven development, really need to make sure we build all these tests and get you that knowledge, and then actually write 5 or 6 and apply that knowledge. So if I teach you something, I want you to write the code, and I'm with you there, and we pair programming and building that out. So yeah, so about once a week, we want to have it really consistently. Obviously, it's flexible with your schedule, but usually students tend to go best if they say, hey, every Tuesday afternoon, this is when I have my mentorship session, And then you can start planning, right? Then you can be like, okay, Sunday I need to code a lot. Monday I need to code a lot, so I'm ready for my mentorship session, right? You get assignments from your mentors, right? You need to build the algorithm. You need to solve those interview riddles. You need to solve build that other test for another application that you're working on. You get all those, and you want to make sure you're ready for your mentorship session. So usually people schedule it once a week, and we have it at a fixed time consistently. So it's not like once you have it on Friday and you have it on Monday, so there wasn't that much time for you to learn new skills. So I hope that answers your question. So I'm going to quickly check. If yes, give me the thumbs up, and that'd be awesome. So quickly check in here if you got anything else. Cool. I think that's it. I see no more questions. So good stuff. This was a lot of fun. Yeah, as I said, about half hour is wrapped up. Let me know if you have any question. Email, reach out to me. And yeah, stay awesome. If you're in the US, enjoy Thanksgiving week. We certainly will do. We're grateful for all of our students. Hope you guys have lots to be grateful for about too. If you're anywhere else in the world, don't worry about all these people eating turkey. Just go on with your business and have a great day. Stay awesome, and I'll talk to you later.